Okay, so selling on eBay. How can you make $100 a day without ever touching a product? And you don't even have to talk to the customer. Okay, this is so cool. I'm going to show you this step by step how I do this. And I want to tell you why. Why am I doing this? Well, when I got started doing this, I was looking for people who could teach me how to do it. And I found a serious lack of clear, concise training on this subject. Nobody would explain why to do some things, and and so they just said just do it without understanding why. Well, without understanding why something is done a certain way, it actually makes it more difficult to complete the task, because if you make a mistake with something, you don't understand the reasons why doing it differently won't work. Okay, so I wanted to present this in a way where people could understand not only what to do, but why they're doing it. So I wanted a much more clear and concise training. There was also a lot of misinformation coming from a lot of the people that I was trying to learn from. And I found that they were actually teaching ways that wasted a lot of my time. And I left a lot of money just hanging out there selling cheap, crappy items. And their methods were very outdated. They were saying that, they'd been doing this, they did this 10 years ago, and then they had moved on to other things. And they were no longer actually actively selling on eBay. And so their methods were very outdated. And the internet changes too fast to be using something that worked a few years ago. And I also did not want to just create something that was like other courses that were just like 100 videos, and they kind of just wished you luck with it. They never answered any questions. And and if they were going to answer questions, they were pushing you to purchase a higher priced course that came after the intro course. I didn't want to create multiple courses. I wanted everything right in one place. I also had found someone that was very much of the mindset of it's my way or the highway when they were teaching how to sell on eBay. And if you deviated in any way or made a mistake because you did something that they did not explicitly tell you to do, they kicked you out of the program. They were very my way or the highway. And I was very upset by that when I saw that happen to several people who were learning from someone else at the time that I was learning this. And I was just blown away that someone would just do that. I'm still kind of upset about it, and that was well over a year ago that I saw this happening. And so that's why I'm doing this. And one of the first people who asked me to teach this, when I decided to teach this to people, I thanked her for asking me these questions and that I'm going to create this course. And she was so happy about it because you know she says that she believes things like this happen in our lives for a reason, and that she feels so good about this. She did join the course, and she was so happy for me teaching this because it was exactly what she was looking for. Okay, so let's talk about why do people buy on eBay, because this is something that usually is the first thing that people ask after they see the process, and I want to address this first. Because when you see the process, you'll understand it better because you'll know why people are buying on eBay. Okay, what they're going to eBay for is they're looking for unique items, things that are hard to find in their local stores. So, you may go to Walmart to purchase, say you're going to purchase a desk. Well, Walmart might have like one or two to choose from, and they just aren't exactly what you're looking for. And so when you can't find what you're looking for in the local stores around you, people now have the ability to turn to the internet to find it. So that's one of the main reasons people go on eBay, because eBay is known for having unique items. And the second reason is delivery. They might be able to find it if they go and check more stores, but what a pain in the ass. And so customers are like, forget it. I don't want to drive around town going from store to store or have to drive to the next town looking for exactly what they want. They just want it delivered to their house. And the last thing they're looking for is deals. They want things where they're saving money on the item that they purchase. So it could be one of these reasons that they're buying, uh, two of them, or all three of these could be the reasons why they're going and searching for an item on eBay. So how does it work? The buyer makes a purchase on eBay and becomes your customer. Now you need to go and purchase the item from a cheaper source. And when you do that, you're ordering it online. You enter in their shipping address and it gets shipped to them. So some people will say, well, why don't they just go to that store and buy it on that online store? Because they don't know that that store has it, okay? You are providing the service where you're making it more convenient for them to find the item, okay? Instead of them having to sift through a bunch of stuff on Google looking for a store that might have it, they just go straight to eBay because they know eBay specifically sells unique things, and they'll purchase it from there. Okay, so you're providing that service of convenience to them because you've compiled these items together onto your eBay store for them to be able to find much easier, okay? So then how does that turn into money for you? Well, the price that you sell it for, you have to subtract your fees because there are eBay fees and PayPal fees. And then you subtract the cost that you went and purchased that item for, and the difference is the profit into your PayPal account. And I'll show you this in much more detail because we're going to go and research some items here in a second. And I will show you exactly how to calculate the profits on an item before you even list it. Okay, so you know what you'll make before the item even sells. Now, 99.9% of the time, you never have to talk to anyone. And then when you do talk to someone, it's just via email right within eBay. There's a message center right inside eBay where before somebody buys something, say they want to know what the dimensions are. Perhaps you forgot to put that in the listing. They might ask you what the dimensions are. They might ask if there's other colors available. And it's not very often that they ask those kinds of questions. So very rarely do you have to talk to any customer. It's very simple. You present the item to them at the price that you're selling it. They decide that, yes, they want that. They're willing to pay that price. They purchase from you. You send it to them. And as soon as you enter in the tracking number for that item and it shows as it's on its way to the customer, that's it. You're done. Okay? That is how simple it is. So, what do you sell? I have this pulled up on my browser and I'm going to show you how to find items to sell. Now, what we're looking for is we don't want to reinvent this process. We don't want to take guesses at what people are searching on eBay for. We want to sell what's already selling, okay? Because then we have proof that not only are people looking for it on eBay, but there is a history of people purchasing that item from eBay. So I've got a few examples pulled up here. And these are items that I have actually personally sold myself as well. So I went looking for a few things here that we can use as examples. So a leaf blower, you could probably go to Walmart and find a leaf blower, but what if you want a leaf blower that actually is a vacuum and will also shred the leaves? Not as common as just a regular leaf blower, okay? This is a little bit more specific. It's more unique. And so instead of driving around to multiple stores looking for that particular type of leaf blower, it's something people would come online for. And so we want to find one that has sold. Now this one is sold 74 times. So people are really liking this item on eBay. So what I do in this case, when I find an item that has sold multiple times, I want to see if I can find it someplace cheaper. So I will open up this listing in a new tab, which I've done, and I will search for this item. Now, you can't necessarily search by the title in here because this title does not include the name of the item. Okay, these are just words that describe the item rather than actually, there's nothing that says that it's craftsman. Okay, so we've got to find other ways to search for this. And there's about 3 or 4 different ways that you can search for this. And I chose one of the ways to search, found it on Google fairly quick, and I found out this item is actually for sale on Sears for a much lower price. And I verified, yes, the pictures are the same. When we look at the description, make sure it's the same item. And then let's see if we can make a profit with this. Now, there's an online calculator that I use to do this. Let me go back to start over and show you the process here. So with this calculator, we enter in the price that it's selling for on eBay. That's this right here, the $69.59. That's the buy it now price. Now, what is your cost to purchase this item? Your cost is $46.99. It says free shipping on orders over $30, so we're not going to be paying shipping, which is good. So we put those two numbers in, and let's have it do the math. So if we were to list this item on eBay, the chances are good that it's going to sell for us because it's sold for that other seller 74 times. Now, if we just lower our price just a little bit, let's lower our price by $1. Because remember, people are looking for deals on eBay. We want to lower our price just a little bit because we're brand new. We haven't sold this at all yet. So we need a little bit of help to get up in the search engine of eBay. We need a little bit of help to get up there a little bit higher. So we need to lower our price just a little bit more to be more competitive. That's our only edge that we have when we're brand new. So now we're going to make real close to 20% on this item. It's going to make us about $13. Not bad considering most items that, most methods that people teach on eBay for how to make money, you're only making $1 or $2. So to make $100 a day, you need to sell like less than 10 items to get real close to that $100 if you're making over $10 per item. So that's cool. That's one example. This is actually a great item to possibly start with because, it's not a high risk. It's pretty low cost to you, and you are going to make a profit on it. 20% profit, this is 19.16%. If we did want to bump up to match the price of the other seller, it would get us 20%. That's pretty good, decent profit on eBay, considering most people are going for margins of 10% or less. And you know what? That is just too low for me. I wouldn't be interested in selling that item if it were getting a really low profit like that. So I went and looked for another one. I wanted to find you an example of a higher price item that I knew has been a seller before. So I typed in armless accent chair, and I wanted it to be the color fuchsia. And apparently I didn't know how to spell fuchsia. So eBay was nice enough to tell me that they actually spelled it right here for me, I guess. And so this item has 13 people watching it. That means it may have sold. So I open this up in another tab. And this has sold. It's sold twice. Now that's not quite as much as the other one. Obviously, it's off by a long shot. This has sold twice where their previous item had sold 74 times. However, look at our difference in price. This is $70. This is $300. So a higher priced item just does not sell quite as often as a lower priced item. However, it still sells. This one has sold twice. So I went searching on Google until I could find this item. and I happened to find it for sale on Overstock. Now I want you to remember this right here. 10% off coupon. Okay? Remember that, because that's going to affect the price that we purchase this item for. So that's not fuchsia, but they do have a fuchsia one available. Fuchsia is going to cost a little bit more than the other option, but let's look and see at what our profit would be with this. $236.69 and $302.95. $302.95, $236.69. Let's see what our profit would be. Now we're talking about a $30 profit. However, you saw when we went to the site, they're offering 10% off of that item, of any item on Overstock. Okay? Overstock has deals like that all the time. And so you can actually decrease this price. So, let me get my phone real quick. And what is, take 236.69, and we're going to subtract 10%, which 10% is just going to be $23.66 to make it real simple. So we're going to end up paying $213.03 when we actually go to purchase this item. Now we're going to make $53 whenever this item sells. Now, remember, I did say that these higher price items don't sell as often, but that's okay, because if you're making $53 on an item when it sells, well, you only need an item of that price to sell twice a day for you to make $100 a day. And that's why I like this method so much, because I'm not dealing with items that cost, only 15 or 20 bucks. We may start out an account where we sell a little bit lower just because we want to establish your eBay account. But once you've gotten a few sales, you can start listing items of this price, to where instead of here with this profit, we'd need to make about 10 sales a day. Well, after we've made a few of these sales and eBay says, hey, you're fulfilling your orders, that's awesome. We're going to show your listings to more people. When you list higher price items, eBay's going to be confident that you're going to fulfill the order. They will display your items up at the top of their search results. And now you'll be able to, you'll need to have a lot fewer listings, because if you look at some of the eBay accounts out there, you'll see that they have thousands of listings. And you just don't need to have thousands when you only need to have a couple sales a day to hit $100 a day. Okay, and then this is possible to where, what if you sold this 4 times a day? What if you found, perhaps you had maybe 10 items that were all priced at $50 profit, and they sold, one sold a couple times a week, another one sold a couple times a week, and it got to the point where you had enough items listed where you sold 4 items at $50 profit each. You're now making $200 a day. So this can get real exciting really fast as you start growing your account to where you can list higher price items, and you can start making much bigger profits. So I mentioned a couple of things that are on this list where there's myths about eBay that keeps people from reaching these higher profits. And it keeps people from even starting and trying. So I want to address some of these myths. So myth number 1 is, a lot of people think that everything on eBay is used items, and it's not just true. We just proved that wrong, that they're not all used. They're not all secondhand items. So, the first myth is that in order to have an eBay business is that you have to buy items cheap at yard sales and thrift stores, and then you have to clean them up. You have to take the pictures. Then you have to keep all that inventory somewhere, and then you have to package and ship it yourself. And you don't have to do it that way. it's very difficult to scale to bigger money that way because you have to process so many orders and so many items, and it's this part here. It's just a huge, huge time suck to you. Whereas when you list an item that is sold by Sears or Overstock, you don't have to go and find more inventory because it's there. You don't have to take pictures. I don't know if you've noticed when we were doing this little demo here, but the picture that they use is the same picture that's here on Overstock. They didn't take new pictures, okay? This saves you so much more time to do it this way. Second myth is that you need to have a niche store or niche, however you want to pronounce it. No, that is not something that you need. Now, with something that's a niche store, it's very specific. It would be, say you're going to sell all remote control cars and remote control parts and all of that. That would be, a specific type of item. And you don't need to do that here. Our goal with our eBay account is going to be, we're going to end up with a variety of items because our criteria for listing an item is that it has sold multiple times and that there's a profit on it. And it's just not very likely that you're going to have repeat customers on eBay. You're just not. A niche store is something that would be for Shopify or Etsy, and you put it on your own site, and then you have to go and get the traffic. Okay. This method that we're going to use, we're relying on eBay's traffic and eBay's customers that are already searching for certain items. And we know they're searching for these items and purchasing them because some people already have. Okay. I touched on this third one just a moment ago when we were doing that demo, that there's the myth that you need to go for very small profits of $1 or $2 per sale, that you need to list, myth number 4 combined with this is that you need to list thousands of items at very cheap profit, and that you need to sell hundreds of items every single day in order to make any money. Well, the more items that you sell, that's more time that you are having to spend going and ordering these items and shipping it to the customer. And that becomes very tedious and not very fun. I would much rather prefer to have about 100 to 150 items listed. Maybe even we could do more. You could list 500 or 600 items and really ramp this up to a $10,000 a month business. But if you just need, to make an extra couple $1,000s a month, you only need to list about 100 items and you can make $100 a day with your sales, and you only have to deal with a couple of sales a day. That your work can fit into a time frame of 1 to 2 hours this way. And it's such a much more simplified and easy to manage business model than listing so many items. And then the final myth is that you need to do massive amounts of research for keywords and getting the best title, and that you need to edit all of the photos, and that you have to go buy your own UPCs, which actually, if you want to go buy your own PCs, I hate to burst your bubble, but you're breaking the rules of eBay. They want you to use the UPC that actually belongs to the item. And that's something that I will discuss more in the course, what a UPC is, where you find it, and how you use it, okay? So, no. And then, when I was talking about outdated methods, this worked 10 years ago. So 10 years ago, this was still fairly new to be using this type of method where you drop ship the item to your customer. Okay, where you don't have the actual inventory on hand, you purchase it elsewhere and send it directly to your customer. This was still fairly new about 10 years ago, and back then not many people were doing it, and you had to research your titles, and you had to edit the photos, and you had to buy UPCs. You don't have to do that anymore. It's an outdated method. Don't waste your time doing it. Why would you want to go out and try and come up with a brand new everything when it's proven that it will sell already the way it is for somebody else, okay? You're not going to be that much more clever than someone who has sold it like we saw 74 times, okay? So, and I wanted to share this with you from someone who listened to me talk on this subject before, and I love this, where they said, I have made more sense in the first 10 minutes of what I was sharing than anyone else that had spoken on this subject. Okay, so I was really happy to hear that the way that I explained these things made much more sense. And this is a guy this came from someone who's been around a few times and has taken other trainings. And so I greatly appreciated hearing that from him, because he has tried to learn this from other people before. So let's talk about the 3-part program that I've put together that actually teaches how to do all this. So here's just some of what I cover inside of this program. I go over how to set up your eBay account properly. Okay. There are many mistakes that can be made with setting it up. There's some settings that are hard to find. They're hidden. And I will show you how to find those and set it up properly, because if you don't, you could possibly lose money on your sales. Okay. In fact, I have had one of my students that was in my course, they did not follow all of the steps in that, and they actually did lose a couple bucks on their first sale. So they're making money, they lost a couple dollars. Luckily, it was only a couple dollars. So I have all of the settings there for you to follow and set up properly so that you don't lose the money. Okay, then we talk about the correct settings in the actual listing itself. I have this in video form for you, and I also put it into written instructions so you can print it out and have it right next to your computer so that you can follow along as you're listing your items step by step by step, and so that you know exactly what to input into each and every setting within the actual listing. And I show how to find high profit items. I did show you a little demonstration there, but I've got even more that makes it easier and faster to find these, so that it's possible to where you can list 5 or 10 items within an hour. Okay. And we want to make sure that we're finding high profit items, because we want 20% profit, not 2%. Okay. I've put this into a video format inside the course, and also there's a written checklist. So as you're searching for items to list, you have a checklist to go through so that you always can find a high profit item, because we don't want to waste our time on puny profits. I also have a 90-day plan for you to follow. It's a jumpstart plan, so there is a bit more to do in these first 90 days. After 90 days, it calms down, and there's not quite as much listing that you have to do on your account. And so from there, there's a 12-month long-term plan to follow after these 90 days, to where you can actually start to plan out how to quit your job and just sell on eBay full-time, if that's what you choose to do. I also cover how to keep track of what you have listed, because when you sell an item, you need to quickly go and be able to find the item and purchase it quickly. And so I'm going to give you my done for you spreadsheet, where all you do is you copy and paste the information of where you found that item, so that you can quickly go and purchase it for your customer without having to search for it again. Okay. And then we need to track our profits. This is one of my favorite things to do, because I love going and looking at my profit spreadsheet and seeing what I've earned for the whole month. So you're going to get my done for you spreadsheet so that you can keep track of all your profit, so that you don't overspend, because once you start making this money, it does get tempting to spend it quickly, but we need to keep track so that we don't get out of control. Okay. So we're also going to talk about what types of items to list for long-term profit. Because there are some items that will make you money in the short term. They just don't sell all year long. But we want things that sell every day, all year long. And so we're going to talk about that inside the course. And it's also, when is the best time and the worst time to get started with an eBay business? There is a misconception that people think that the best time to start is right before Christmas because they think, well, I'll just get all of those Christmas sales. Unfortunately, this course is not open then because that is actually the worst time to start. If you try and jump in to the middle of November and start selling, you may get a lot of sales and it may go so fast and you're not experienced and ready for it that you make a lot of mistakes, you lose a lot of money, and if you screw up bad enough, eBay will shut down your account if you cannot keep up with fulfilling those orders, okay? So at the end of the year is the worst time to actually get started. When you want to get started is earlier in the year to where you can establish your eBay account. You can become familiar with all of the settings and how it works and grow your account and have your sales increase gradually rather than a massive jump in sales that you're just not prepared for and you can't handle, okay? So, and I really talk about the sales. I go into more in depth in this inside the course, but I wanted to give this information to you before you get into the course, just a little bit of this information because I want you to be able to make a decision about, do you want to do this? If you do, now is the time to do this because later in the year, yes, there will be a lot more sales at the end of the year for Christmas time, but you need to be prepared. You need to have a system in place and understand how to do these things, a month or two in advance, not a day in advance of getting all those sales, okay? So, and this was one of my students who went through the course. He is actually from the Philippines. So does this work for people outside of the U.S.? Yes, it does. He was so excited when he got his first sale that he thought he was going to faint. He sent me this message weeks ago and I told him today that I was recording this and I was putting this in here. And he goes, I wasn't joking when I said I was going to faint. He goes, thinking back on it, he says, thinking of the excitement of that first sale, it still gets him excited to think of that first one. He can remember it that clearly. So now, if I were going to teach this program to someone one-on-one, I would need to charge a minimum of $2,000, and we'd have to cram all of it into one weekend, okay? And if you were to go and figure this all out on your own, it would cost you thousands of hours of trial and error because that's what I had to do myself. It took me hundreds, if not thousands of hours to figure out this method, to figure out these settings and get this process down to where it worked well. And I did lose some money in the beginning covering my mistakes because I just was not, finding anybody to teach me the right way to do these things. Nobody was teaching me how to set up my account properly. Nobody was teaching me how to, come up with the right amount of profit. Nobody was teaching me how to search for items. These are things that I figured out through trial and error and piecing together bits of information that I could get from other individuals to finally be able to put this together. And yes, it cost me some money in making mistakes. And it cost me a lot of time to put this together. And you could go through that trial and error yourself and spend, like I did, 6 months figuring this out. And the money wasted as well from the mistakes I made. And you can do that yourself too if that's what you want. I don't recommend it. I don't think I would ever go through and do it the way that I did again. Okay? But because this is going to be a group program, all of the content is there. It's available. It's ready for you right now. And it's going to be only available for a limited time because I only want you to start this during the best times of the year to get started. This course will not be available later. because later is not the best time to start. You have to start early in the year to really be able to be prepared for that fourth quarter Christmas season rush of sales, okay? Now, everything you need to get started today, it's there. It's ready for you right now. And you can, as soon as you purchase, you can start watching these videos. And you can watch me right over the shoulder kind of view. And I started a brand new account for demonstration purposes in this course because I didn't think it was really fair to just jump into my main account and be like, here it is, here's how it looks after you put in the work. I didn't think that was fair. I wanted you to be able to watch me go through and start from scratch and put in the work into a brand new account. Now, I do show you my main account as well, and you will get to see that, but I just thought it would be so much more beneficial to you to see me start with a brand new account, and you can see how within, I believe it was in less than a week, I started getting sales on that brand new account that I was using. I also am going to give you your very first item to list, okay? And I'm going to walk you through how to calculate the profit. I'll show you exactly how to save that that free tool that I use. I don't pay to use that calculator that I showed you. I'll show you where to get it and how to save it so that you can use it too. And I'll show you how to use it because there's more that it can do. I'm going to walk you through all of the step-by-step process of getting set up with a brand new account properly. Now, I mentioned earlier, if you don't get the settings right, you could be selling items at a loss. I did have someone who got into my course. They thought they knew what they were doing. They skipped that part because they had an existing eBay account. They skipped over my settings on what to do inside of your eBay account, and they just jumped right to my method of listing items. And then they sold something and it didn't have as much profit as they wanted. They actually lost a couple bucks. And I said, did you watch the video on the account settings? And they said, yeah, I looked at it, but I didn't actually do it. Like, that's why. Go back through, do it, and tell me what you would have made on that sale, and they would have made a profit had they followed those account settings properly. And so I'm going to also give you the blueprint on what type of items to start with, because on a brand new account, you are going to list different items than what you would be listing on an account that's already making $100 a day. This is why I showed two different accounts inside this training. I showed a brand new account and I show my established account so you can understand where you start and what the goal is at the end of the 90-day, jumpstart plan that I put together. And you can see also how it works going forward for the next, 6 months, 12 months, and into the future. Okay, this testimony here, this is from another one of the students that went through the course. He was so excited. He was actually the only person I spoke to on the phone because I've known him for years, and he wanted that little bit of reassurance that it wasn't too technical. And I told him, listen, the most technical thing in here, once everything's set up, the most technical thing you're going to have to do is maybe you're going to have to resize a picture because it's not the right size for eBay. And he's like, that's all I wanted to hear. Thank you so much. I'm going to get in right now. And so he made the purchase and got started with us. And so I encourage you, if you've been curious and wanting to be able to start this business, and you want to be able to quit your job in the next year. Okay, this isn't a thing where you can join. You can't just start an eBay business and expect to quit your job next week. For the first 90 days, you're going to be laying a foundation of the listings in your account and getting your account established. Now, if you already have an eBay account, don't start a new one. Use your existing eBay account and clean it up and start again. And you'll actually probably see a huge increase in profits before the end of the 90 days of the blueprint that I put in here, okay? Now, it doesn't take you 90 days to go through this course. This course is short enough to where you could get through it in a weekend if that's all you did in that entire weekend, okay? So the content that you need to learn is shrunk down into 3 parts. There's about 10 videos in each part, along with the written instructions there for you to print out as a guide to follow along. It's all there. As soon as you get inside, it's all there and available to you. So you can get through the content really fast, and it's there for you to go back and reference. But the plan, the blueprint to follow is a 90-day blueprint to get your account completely and fully loaded with items that are selling items, because if something's not selling, we don't want it there. And so in this 90-day blueprint, I talk about that too. How to determine when should you just say, forget it, I'm not going to keep this item in my account. We cover that too, okay? So that as you go forward past those 90 days, you're only dealing with listings that are selling. We don't want stuff in our way that's not selling. So I'm really excited for you to get started into this program and to see what you can do and to see if you can speed up the 90-day process, okay? That'll be really cool, because one of the things that I've read recently with, it's in a book by Tim Ferriss. It's called Tools of Titans. And if you don't have this book, I strongly recommend it, because there's so much knowledge from different people that are real titans in business. But one of them said, they were talking about a plan for their business, of growing their business. And they said, what's keeping you from accomplishing it in 6 months? So as you go through this course, I want you to think about that. What's keeping you from accomplishing it faster? Okay. If you want to quit your job in the next 6 months instead of a year, like I lay out in the program as being possible, what's keeping you from doing it faster? Okay. Sooner you get into the program, the sooner you start watching the videos, the sooner you have your eBay account set up, the sooner you can start listing, and the sooner you can start making sales, so the sooner that you can quit that job or fix your financial situation, whatever the case may be. So, congratulations to those who are joining right now. I will see you on the inside of the course.